Today's news, why I won't open another restaurant in Korea.
Today's topic comes from a blog or a website, zenkimchi.com, which is linked down below. Zen Kimchi is run by Joe McPherson. He's one of the original bloggers out of South Korea, expat bloggers, and he still lives there. He's also a very successful entrepreneur, and if he's watching this, what's up, Joe? Anyways, he posted this on his Facebook, and it came up in my feed. I read through it, and actually right in the very top of this article is a hyperlink over to another article that he wrote in 2012. That one is super long, and it outlines so much copycat culture that is happening in South Korea. It's been happening for so long. I want to read the statement real quick, and then we're going to let you go say whatever you want. Sorry, I'm just like hogging the beginning of this video. It's the way business is done in Korea. Japanese and Chinese tourists come here, not for the sights, but for the imitation Gucci handbags. High school students copy on exams. College students plagiarize their papers from the internet. Professors plagiarize their papers from their undergrads. One of the biggest frustrations I hear from foreign faculty in Korean universities is the amount of unabashed and unashamed plagiarism that goes on. Students really don't know how to write for themselves. There have been swaths of scandals of people in high positions being caught with forged university degrees.
I think that there's some substance there. I was actually going to touch on the black market copycat handbags and things like that because South Korea, in addition to China, are the number one, well, those two countries are the number one producers of fake imitation merchandise like handbags and fashion.
Now, don't get us wrong. We both love Korea, and I think this is one of the understated things that happens over there constantly that people outside of Korea just don't really know about.
And there's a lot of reasons why it is that way. And one reason is because Korea would not be where it is today if it wasn't for that copycat culture. So as much as you can lambaste it, you also have to kind of commend them for it, because 50 years ago, South Korea was really third world as a country, and part of the reason why they were able to grow was because in the 80s and the 90s they copied all kinds of things, electronics, other consumer goods from Japan and the US, and because they were able to do that and then eventually copy, and then start to incorporate their own designs into that. This is why we have major companies out there like Samsung and LG, where they're the number one producers of a lot of electronic things.
The thing though is, it goes way beyond copying electronics from other companies outside of South Korea. If you look at, for instance, the 2012 post that Joe made, he uses the example of a restaurant from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, that has a particular branding with the inside of the decor of the restaurant and the menu, and then he takes photos, or he gets photos off the internet somewhere, of a Korean restaurant or bakery, or I don't know what it is. They copied every single last detail of this restaurant from Vancouver with the construction in Korea. I mean, every possible thing is practically the same. The color of the bricks painted, each item on the menu, the way the inside of the restaurant looks, the way that they cook all the things. It's just a shame really that in Korea, people there don't care about copyright at all. It works out on the internet. It helps out a little bit better. I mean, actually, people do reaction videos know that you are not able to monetize your video on YouTube, and so there is a way that Koreans follow copyright, global copyright, but copying someone's restaurant, like right to the last detail, like, come on now, Korea.
And I want to bash it, but I also want to applaud it at the same time, only because this is the way that new foods are getting introduced to Korea, and Korean cuisine is starting to expand beyond just the basics. This is how different dishes, different international foods become acceptable, and Korea becomes a bigger global society.
That's sort of like another thing to talk about, what you're bringing up there, because intellectual property, how do we keep protection on intellectual property outside the United States or in places where they're very easily able to copy it now? Because we have the internet, you can just go on and see everything, anything could be copied. I mean, the reason why I thought this article was interesting was because he was saying he opened 2 restaurants, and one of the restaurants he opened, they would immediately come in as soon as he opened and pick apart all the dishes. They would order everything, pick them all apart, and if it was an investor who had money, that restaurant, the one that he opened, a complete copycat could be open within a month somewhere else, or even quicker, and they'd have the same menu.
It's awful. And that, in that respect, it is awful.
all his hard work, and then someone else can just go ahead and copy it. Like, come on, how does the law not protect that over there? On the corporate scale of things, taking ideas and copying them and then making them into your own, into new products that resemble other products but are not the same. That's one thing. Copying somebody's hard work in a restaurant, that should be prohibited by law. It should not be allowed, and yet you see it everywhere over there.
And that's where you get into this gray area that should be much more black and white, that I, as an individual, I don't know all the laws and all the logistics around that.
Neither do I.
But what I will say is that Korean society is one that does copy a lot. A lot of things are copied. As an artist, I have to say there's something to the process of learning how to be creative and innovative, where you almost have to copy and copy and copy different people's styles and techniques, and it develops into your own creativity, your own production, your own thing, because that's the reason why we have a lot of the Korean technology right now, is because they did copy, and they copied and copied, and they learned from it, and they learned how to make it better, which is one thing that Korea is exceptionally good at, is taking something, copying it, and making it one step better.
Lastly, and I do want to point this out because the quote that I read was in part about university professors, foreign professors, which is why I did for over 6 years and retired from. You know how I used to get around students blatantly copying from the internet?
How?
I would make them handwrite all their work that they were going to submit to me instead of typing it out. So that way they would have to do like this, and it was kind of pointless, or it was still just as much work and you wouldn't be learning as much. At least if they were handwriting, it fell on them to do the copying. But like, if you have to turn a paper in on Microsoft Word, you just have to copy and paste, and that's it. You change a font. You have to do any work, at least with the handwriting. So that was the way that I got around it, and I learned that quickly because other professors were like, I don't give a shit that they copy because the job is so easy there. You can get away with murder as a professor, so I didn't want to keep doing it. This is way more fulfilling than that. I'm just saying, I mean, personal preference, sorry.
Do you know what I did as a professor?
Huh.
I chose a couple of random sentences and Googled it, and if it came up, they got a 0.
See, that's a lot of work too. See, that work fell on you. It should be easy work for the professor to correct because the hard work falls on the students.
Well, you can also actually tell if you actually read a paper, because usually they would find it in Korean, put it in Google Translate, and then put that in the paper.
And that was another reason why I wanted them to handwrite, because that used to happen a lot too. We hope that you found this video interesting. Comments down below, what is the copyright infringement law or copyright protection in your country like versus in Korea or the United States if you're not in the US?
Do you have a lot of problems with plagiarism?
Yeah. Do you? Comments, you guys. Click the like button, and thank you for supporting us here at Hallyuback. Click the bell for notifications. Check out the link to Kagel and also her prints, and don't forget to subscribe for more Hallyuback news. That's it. We're out of here. Hasta luego.
Bye.